Hey y'all! Hopefully y'all can hear me okay. So definitely let me know in the chat if you can hear me because this is my first time doing a live in like over a year. I was like, we're not doing this anymore. I'm only doing events in my community for my ladies. But I really was excited to kind of get back out there and do some more live events. I know that there are so many people in the community. Yay! I'm glad you can hear me. But I know there are so many people in the community who can absolutely really use the support and the guidance of some live resume reviews. And I hate doing like personal resume reviews that are not paid for because then it doesn't really benefit the whole group. So, all of that being said, hey y'all, hey, I see y'all in the comments. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna do a brief introduction. I know many of you who are on the live, and I'm checking TikTok really quick because TikTok doesn't love me and they won't let me stream from one system. But all of that being said, my name's Mercedes. If you do not know me, I am, I guess, an ex-recruiter now. I've been in human resources for over 7 years. Have reviewed countless resumes, hired countless people, and so I decided to use that expertise to start a business. And my title around that is I'm the career love coach. And I offer career love coaching because I really want Black women to fall in love with their careers. So, all of that being said, I've been career coaching for 5 years. And offer a wide variety of solutions to help Black women advance in their career. I say ex recruiter because I'm like almost 7 months into a career pivot into DEI. And so all of these things just to get to be really great things for me. So welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're here, I would love to know that you're here. So say hello in the comments and also what your dream job is just to get some engagement there. So say hello in the comments and yeah, what your dream job is. As we go through, I will try and get back to any of the questions that we have at the end. I want to get through. We have 4 resumes that have been submitted at this point. So I do want to get through them, but definitely say hello. If you are on here and we do have more time after I review the first 4, you can send me your resume. So I have it scrolling if you are on Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube. I have it scrolling at the end. You can send me your resume at hello@mercedesswan.com. And if I have time, I will go through and add it to the list. I do want to redact information, so that may take some more time. But all of that being said, I would love to get additional resumes. And if we don't get it this time, we can get it next time. So hello, thank you for you all saying hello in the comments. I love that, Alyssa. And I have an anonymous LinkedIn user. So thank you all for continuing to say hello. And hello for those who are on TikTok. I can't see all of your comments, but I appreciate you being here. And I'm excited for you being here. Okay, so we are going to jump right in to the first resume. So let me go ahead and pull that up. Like I said, we have 4. And I did redact information from resumes because I didn't want anybody to be out here getting caught by their employer. Okay. So I did redact some information. So as I'm going through, I have not reviewed these before. I just kind of went through redacted information and I had each person send me the position that they are most interested in so that I had something to compare it against. So it may take me a little while to get through these because, like I said, these are live resume reviews. I have not prepped them. So while you're waiting for me to look at this, pull up my screen, I would absolutely love if some of you would share this with an individual that you know could really benefit from resume writing and having a good understanding of what that is. And maybe they are currently job seeking, all of the above. Okay. I want to definitely make sure that this live makes the most impact with people in the group. Okay. Let's see. Can you all see this okay? It's a little bit wonky. Okay. Now that's what happens when you're doing a resume review for the first time. Okay. I think this is okay now. No. I just want to see one. Oh, goodness. All right. Y'all, not this being difficult. Not this being difficult. I know y'all can see that now. Can TikTok see it? All right, there we are. Yes, you're welcome, Troya. Welcome, welcome. So keep saying hello in the comments. Okay, so we have this first resume from a very special lady in my community. I love you and thank you for being here. So as I'm looking through this, so this individual said that they wanted to be an executive assistant. The first thing that I noticed, and I know you can't see it because I blocked out their name and contact information, or her name and contact information, but I noticed this graph right here is in a picture. So that's actually something you really want to avoid doing at all costs, even if the formatting does not look as nice. So when you upload a picture into an applicant tracking system, it cannot parse anything. So it's the applicant tracking system is not going to upload your name. It's not going to upload. I mean, it might if you put in the application, which you probably did, but it's not going to really move your information automatically into either the way that the resume parses or into the system itself. I know you were like, I got some, I'm on a struggle bus trying to get this resume edited. So I totally understand. But I would say take this picture out, and even if it just looks plain because you don't have, the resources to do it in other ways, like make it top to bottom. Just put your name, your title, and your information down here. I don't want to move this stuff because, again, I'm not trying to have anybody's business out in the street. But this LinkedIn link that was like right here was super long. So you might want to just make it a hyperlink so it's not too long. If you just do change it into linear standpoint, like it probably would be fine, right? But my goal here is to, at the bare minimum, the ATS has to be able to read your resume. So if it can read your resume, but it's not the formatting that you want, like that's what I want for you. All right. So I know that was a little wordy. Okay, so now I have here, I do love that there's an objective. I would say like to provide some type of title here, like you could say objective. And I do think this is a pretty good objective. Like it talks about being an executive assistant, um, very executive assistant-esque responsibilities and roles. I love that it's talking about the executive administrative support. I think a lot of executive assistants in this day and age, I feel like it's kind of evolving, do need more experience with helping out with projects and rolling out initiatives on behalf of the executive that they're working for. So I think if you could even put a little bit of more high level tasks and duties other than the general like calendaring and what is that word called? Calendaring and scheduling that is in travel. That's typically part of that. I think that would help you out a little bit. So just kind of look at some job postings and pull from there. Okay, I got a question from Troya. Are hyperlinks preferred on resumes? So I mean, I don't know. It really would depend on how the employer is looking at your resume. Like they could be clicking it. I know when I'm doing a first round of resume reviews, I'd be looking at a lot of resumes at one time. So I do not go through and click on LinkedIn profiles. I think it's there if that person wants to do some additional looking at your stuff. And so in that case, yeah, you could definitely have an hyperlink. I personally don't like it when it has like that blue and that underline and it just kind of like changes the like aesthetics of your resume. But that's kind of my thoughts of like it's not really super important for your first round. And if you do have it hyperlinked, just kind of make sure it fits into the color and everything else like that with your resume. And yes, Stephanie, this is my first time doing this, so it should be recorded on the platforms that they're on. So I know YouTube definitely does, and I will make sure that I can try and post this later in the Career Love community as well. So I will say that it's my first time doing it on this platform. I hope so, but we'll go from there. So, okay. So moving down here to experiences, just more of like a formatting piece. I don't love like where this line is and this. I feel like it's kind of all squeezed together. And then here you have a bullet, which can like be consolidated and kind of has some weird formatting here. Here, so what I would say is like remove this bullet here and then make sure that these have bullets. That's the general formatting for most resumes. And I do think that you want bullets always instead of paragraphs. So this one is a little lengthy. You always want to also start with action verbs. So some of these are like you have manages, leads, but these are like daily administrative duties. So this is more like a description of what you do. You actually want to break these down and tell us a story. Clearly identify, like, what are you doing with those filing systems? What were the results of having these filing systems in place? What were the benefits of that? And so you can't really do that when you have this big summary. So what you want to do is really drill down and pull these out, because all of these things that I see here are relevant to executive assistants. I say this with love. I say this with love. If I'm hiring for an executive assistant, I'm typically looking for executive assistants to be very detail oriented, very organized, and they would be drafting any paperwork or things that I'm submitting, to my colleagues or, across organizations. And so things like this that are inconsistent in structure may be actually a red flag for me. Now, I don't think an initial resume review from a recruiter would be that detailed, but I kind of want you to think about that. Okay. I also think this is a pretty good start off, here. I might just change this to one of these ones instead of a slash, but straight up and down one. But other than that, this looks fine. But I do think these skills and generally what you're talking about here is well done. Okay, I'm continuing. So this one, there's not as much detail. So you do have some pretty good details up here, like, working closely with XYZ. Like, those are very executive assistant-esque. When I get down here, it does feel like it's an educator, right? So you want to think about, okay, what are the skills that an executive assistant would have that's more relevant to my current job. Now, it is easier to get an EA job when you already have one on your resume, so it's not that. But kind of rethink, like, okay, what are some, right, in this one, I was executing projects. How can I rewrite this experience here being an educator from an executive assistant type of perspective, right? There's a lot of different things that you can do to kind of re-envision that. So that's what I would suggest here. Same thing with the formatting. And honestly, like, really short bullets like this aren't really great. This has to do with travel, right? So just think about that from, a travel standpoint, and kind of make this a little bit more of a well-rounded bullet. Hello, everyone who has just joined us. I'm almost done with this resume. If you are new, say hello to me in the comments. Just say your name and yeah, what your dream job is. I would love to hear from you. Also, I have about 4 resumes. I'm hoping to get through all of them. I should get through all of the 4 resumes, but if you do want your resume reviewed, it's free for the live, and you can send your resume to me at hello@mercedesswan.com. So when I get to a stopping point, I will go and look. Okay. All right. I'm checking TikTok. Hello, people on TikTok. All right. Hopefully TikTok will give me the ability to do this on one platform, because this ain't it. All right. Okay. So we're going back to this resume. So we have this skills section here. I do think the skills are actually good skills, especially again for your position. I would actually move them up before experience. So recruiters, including myself, really love to skim through a skills section. And so in this case, I'm kind of reviewing all your work experience when really I just want to skim the skills section. So most of the time a recruiter will just go straight to the bottom and look for that skills section, but it'll probably be a little bit easier to have it here. I also think when you kind of have it, like, it does save space on your resume by having it kind of all lumped together like this. I do like that you broke them apart with a dot. But one thing that I would say is you could change this to columns, which is usually how I like looking at them. Of course, fixing it and making one on each line, but you could put it into a 3-column or 4, whatever looks best. And that's just a little bit easier to read through. I didn't mention this, but you have like several fonts in here. So I would change them all to the same font, because again, from an organizational professionalism polish standpoint, that is what I do. Hi, Crave Coco. I love your username. That's so cute. Okay. So education, and memberships, master's education. Okay. I think it's at face value a little weird that you don't tell me. Okay, so it's a master's in education. I would just say master's of education or master's in education, just to make that more clear. Like, you have bachelor's of arts here, so I would just make that a little bit more clear. A lot of the times, if you're not a recent grad, you can remove that date, so you can do that from here as well. We don't want people trying to age you based on your resume. And here, these ones, notary public, super important for an EA. Here, this American Society of Administrative Professionals, I would say if, of course, it's good to be a part of an organization, but if you don't really have any, okay, so I should say this. If you have the opportunity, maybe you're involved in something, maybe you're on a committee, maybe you go to monthly meetings, like kind of describe what you do. It's really hard to know, like, what is the value of this? Like, are you just a member? It is helpful to be a member to get up to date knowledge, but maybe you could put that on there of like what the benefits of this are is this is and many recruiters may know what that is, but like for me, I've not heard of it before, so it may not be something that I'm knowledgeable about. But at the end of the day, you don't know who's reviewing your resume, so kind of sharing the value and the impact of being in this membership is super helpful. Okay. Also, for an executive assistant, I honestly might put that notary part up here because it's super important. Okay, or I should say sought after. Okay, cool. This is the first resume, and I'm like 17 minutes in, so I feel like I'm going a little bit slow, but it's okay. I'm detailed. I'm gonna do a quick check to see if I am missing any questions. I do not, and if you are here, let me know. Yeah, how's it going for you? Any questions? All right. That is still centered, but not for you all. Okay, here's our second resume. I'm trying to make sure you all can see it okay. There we go. Hello. Cool. I see your question, person from LinkedIn. So says, I'm sorry, I'm saying person from LinkedIn is not telling me who you are. So hello, person from LinkedIn. Maybe you're a different person from LinkedIn. Who knows? So would you recommend reaching out to a recruiter on LinkedIn once you applied for the role? Absolutely. That's a great strategy. Make sure when you do that, you're not like implying that they need to give you any type of anything in response. Like some people will reach out and they'll be like, hey, I want to talk to you about this position. I'm like a great fit. And I'm like, I don't want to talk to you. No, I'm just kidding. That's really petty. But in all honesty, like you'll get some really aggressive calls, and can you imagine, or messages, and like, can you imagine if like a recruiter responded to all of those and like actually like capacity wise is not time. So you just want to kind of nicely reach out and say, you applied, you're very excited. Oh, hello. Okay. It's great. I'm sorry. I don't know if this is more neat. Anyway, hopefully I'm saying your name right. But awesome. Okay, now I know who you are. All of that being said, like I do think it's a good thing. Just be very intentional about how you do that, as expressing interest and just making contact versus like trying to weave your way into an interview, because that irks us. Ask a recruiter. Okay, so here's our second one for today. So this person is looking at an HR generalist position. So I just right off the bat do love how clean and organized this is. Like it is visually pleasing to me. Now you got to think like it may not be important to think about being visually pleasing when you're just trying to get your bullets right, but I'm more likely to look through something that doesn't feel like it's all jumbled up and confusing. So I do think that this font is very visually pleasing. I think the structure and the spacing is very nice. So I'm just going to say that right off the bat. One of the things that I think could be easier on the eyes is this section. So it's kind of like, I do like that you have a lot of things centered, which is visually appealing, but I think you might actually be able to like split these two up and kind of have them like this. That way it kind of like splits up all of that text and I can kind of read through this. Okay. So HR generalist, I think you could also add a title up here that's like not this big, but HR generalist. This is massive, but something like that, right? And fix that spacing, but like essentially that. Okay, summary is good. Summary's fine. Sometimes I prefer to do an objective, but I think based on you already being in HR, a summary is totally fine. Today, interest in developing salary budgets, evaluation programs, benefits admin. Okay. So if you're not applying to a position in the healthcare industry, like you can totally take this part out. There's a lot of soft skills in here. Like nobody knows what, I'm sorry, I'm going to sound like petty. Anyway, nobody knows what determined and diligent means. Like that could mean something totally different based on where you work, who you are, all those other kind of things. So when you put in these soft skills, it's really just like wasted space in your summary. So I would rather hear you talk about more HR related functions. So, you know, if you are talking about managing HR systems, implementing best practices, managing strategic relationships, something like that, that is saying like, okay, of course, a determined and diligent person would make all of these, you know, proactive things happen for their career, right? So that's a much better real estate for the first thing that somebody's going to see on your resume. I think that some of these are very specific. So if you're updating and developing salary budgets, why not kind of make this a broader skill and talk about like compensation? Same thing for evaluation programs. Why not make this a broader thing and talk about performance and employee engagement or something like that, right? Benefits administration is pretty good, right? Because that's a little bit broader. So just think about like what are the key skills that somebody like you really want them to know about you and what words are they using and adjusting that way. For the skills section, I do like, again, visually appealing. There's like a little nitpicky thing where like sometimes you have the second word capitalized. I would just make that consistent. Employee relations. This one, I do get that I'm assuming this is like overstock, like of inventory. I don't know if that's not, but like this doesn't seem as HR relevant. These all seem fine. You might say recruitment as well. Oh, you have executive recruiting strategies here. Okay, this looks pretty good. Like a very nitpicky thing is like you may want to lump the recruitment type things, like put employee relations, and then the second one is conflict resolution and etc. So that those key skills are kind of all lumped together. But this is totally fine. Okay. Okay, here. So the first thing that sticks out to me is like recruiter / generalist. I'm like, you a specialist as a recruiter or a generalist. So why do you have two of them? What does that mean? So it kind of like is a little confusing to me. So I would say like put the one for the job that you're going for, which is the HR generalist here. So it doesn't really prompt questions. And a generalist will be doing recruitment. So if you just want to make sure that they know you're doing recruitment, you're just going to put a bullet down there, right? Most of these start with the action verb, but this one starts with actively. Make sure they all start with an action verb. If it's your current job, you want to do monitors, like you want to use a present tense, administers instead of the past tense because you're still working there. Everything else should be past tense though. And I know it is weird when it's like maybe like a one-time special project that you did. You still want to say it in the present tense so that the formatting is the same. Okay, cool. Yay. Okay, visual. Oh my gosh, I just realized like I have my whole cup in the front of my TikTok video. Yeah, the ADHD is ADHD. Sorry, TikTok people. It's okay. TikTok sees me like a stepchild, so whatever. It's fine. So does Instagram. It's okay. But I guess TikTok does that to everybody. Okay, visual manager. Okay. I would say like you were a manager, so you can like remove this because visual isn't necessarily related to human resources. So I would just say manager. These bullets, okay, so I would say like these are more well-rounded bullets, right? Like you do provide a story, administered and negotiated. This one is kind of long, but I feel like is a more well-rounded bullet. Some of these two are kind of short. But I would say like facilitated onboarding and training, employee training opportunities. Like you do have the opportunity to say like maybe what you trained on, if they were HR topics, like maybe harassment or performance evaluations or anything that is, you know, when you talk about company mission and goals, like that's a very HR focused training here. So you could do that, and you could also talk about the impacts of that. So this for sure is like a bullet that you could really expound upon. So I try not to have like all these very big differences in how resume writing is structured. Okay. I'm seeing the same things. And I do like you definitely also, okay, wait. Girl, you got payroll experience. You better put that at the top unless you don't like doing payroll. Is that up here? You have compensation negotiations. But like, let's pull out some of these HR skills from down here, right? DE&I, okay, not DE&I in 2017. Okay, yeah, using HRIS systems, is that up here? You have management systems. Information. You can put HRS up here. There's some skills that you have down here that I would put up here. And yeah, because payroll is highly desired and people don't like payroll. So that's all I got to say. Get you a generalist job, girl. Okay. Assistant manager. Let me look through these. Yeah, I would say that these are decent topics. Again, just fully flesh out these bullets. And of course, the individual that this is in the community. So there's bullets training in there for you, girl. Got it. Fill these out. Okay. And then, so the interesting thing for this is education, right? So you have like very recently completed this master's degree. Congratulations. I would put this at the top. I think that's a very clear sign that you are very committed to continuing and growing your education. So putting that at the top, especially since it's a newer degree. Now, you saw how I just had different recommendations for the last one, right? It is all about relevancy to the job, right? So if you're seeing things out there where people are like, oh, do not put your education at the top. This is one of the times where I want to put that at the top, okay? Because it's very relevant, and since it's recent, shows that you really have a commitment to growth. You can probably take off your high school diploma at this point because you do have higher education. And then for here, I would take off student member. We don't care that you're a student member. You're a SHRM member. Go for it. Same thing, like these, you definitely, like the same advice that I just gave of like, tell us why this is an important thing. I would think most recruiters probably know what a SHRM certification is, but you may have your resume land on somebody, desk who does not know the importance of a SHRM certification or golden key. I don't know what golden key is. Or what honor society is, right? So just kind of, you could put one or two bullets or maybe a brief description underneath that says why these things are important or what you did, your role, what you did to earn it, whatever. I'm getting into a lot of details now, but all I'm saying is you can add some additional details to kind of, flex what you did. Okay, I've got quite a few new people join me, so I wanted to say hello to you all and take a quick break as we transition to the next resume. So if you are here, my name is Mercedes. I'm the Career Love Coach, and I'm helping out the lovely ladies in my community. If you're not a lady, you're welcome here, but all are welcome. But most of my community are Black women. And so I wanted to create this space to really get some guidance and realistic feedback from the standpoint of a recruiter. So if you're here, you're new, say hello, say what your dream job is, your name and your dream job, and then we'll go from there. Also, if you are really enjoying this and you would like your resume reviewed, you can send your resume to me at hello@mercedesswan.com. I have about 4 right now. I will review those in my inbox for either next live or to add on today if I still have time and I'm not burnt out by the time this is over. And yeah, so let me know if you have any questions about resume writing as well, but I'm so glad that you're here. So yeah, say hello. Okay, while I pull up the third resume, if you are somebody that is like, you know what, I really would prefer some, one-on-one experience. I'm not about having my resume reviewed live. There is a QR code on the screen that you can use to schedule a call with me. I love providing one-on-one coaching. You really get to have this one-on-one experience of rebranding and talking about your skills with me. So sorry, I'm just fighting with this one. Sorry for y'all having to see this. Why does it do this to me? Yeah, this awesome experience of getting one-on-one experience about your brand and writing your resume. So if that sounds like something that you'd be interested in, definitely let me know as I struggle with my high resolution screen, right? Goodness. Lord have mercy. Okay, y'all can see it. Y'all can see it. Okay. All right. And also, give me a minute. I'm going to check TikTok for questions, y'all, because I can't see what they're saying. Okay. Hello to all the beautiful people on TikTok watching. I appreciate you. Welcome to the live. Just TikTok is treating me like a stepchild and did not let me do this. It says there's one message, but I can't see it. So hello to all of you who have joined for the live. All right, I don't see no questions on TikTok, but hello, y'all. Okay, third resume. Okay, so this is, I just fixed this. Okay, here we go. Sorry, y'all. Struggle bus. Okay, so I did update this. People don't have their email as email at gmail.com. So I will say that a traditional resume that gets across the point is okay. I do feel like this resume template does feel a little bit dated and aged. Prior to more recently, Garamond and Times New Roman were acceptable fonts to use on a resume. I'm not saying that they're not acceptable fonts, but they're harder to read. And so what I would do, like I'll just show you, like if I type in Arial, it's just easier to read. Like it's not as much fluff and it's just simpler. So I would always recommend like to pick a resume that excuse me, a resume font. I'm gonna take a sip of coffee that does not have as much as much fancy like little stuff on it. I know there's a word for the people who write fonts, but I don't know them. Okay. Okay, here. So let me undo this. So I must have been formatting. Okay, so for here, you have like a simple way to kind of add like a template, or excuse me, a title here. So I know you were interested in volunteer, so you could put like volunteer coordinator here or something like that, right? And it gives you an ability of just right off the bat having somebody look at your resume and identify that you are the candidate that has meant to apply to this position versus others. This is kind of like what I was talking about that kind of makes it feel a little bit dated. Like most people don't use these kind of wingdings anymore. They just use that like circle. I don't know what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about. And here to break this up, I do feel like it's a little weird where you have like a line and then a line. You could add like a professional objective here. You would make this the same exact thing, but like, well, actually, you could just probably be like, blah, blah, blah. You could probably just start with the words. Okay. Anyway, so obviously this isn't the prettiest thing, but I'm just saying you could have some opportunities to edit some things here. Okay. So when I'm looking at this, like this is more visually appealing because there's some space here and I can really read this well. When it gets down to here, these bullets are a little confusing to me because you're kind of describing the position and then you're just describing what you do afterwards. And so most of the time, people don't really look at bullets that way. I do have some like resume templates where I do have a description because sometimes it's helpful. You're like, nobody knows what care management intern may mean if you're pivoting, right? So I would put it something, if you're going to keep this, the formatting is going to fight with me, but I would put this here and then have your bullet start here, right? So that it kind of separates what is my actual job versus the description that I have. I know you do have some things in here that are things that you do, but I'm saying like to visually separate those things, that's what I would do. Okay. Looking here. Underserved. Okay. This is a detailed bullet. I do appreciate that it's detailed. You do want some more detail than this. But what I'm not seeing like a volunteer coordinator person. So when you're looking at a job description, like a person who does volunteer coordination, right? They're looking at all these different people, they're bringing them together, they're making sure that the event goes out without a hitch, that all the pieces kind of looks a little bit like event planning, but for volunteering, right? And so even though I know that because you're managing all of these people that you probably do have transferable skills, it doesn't scream volunteer to me, right? And you don't have to say that they're volunteers for you to be able to do that, right? But talk about like the coordination of multiple people. Talk about really ensuring that you're appropriately staffed. That. So talking about those types of things is super helpful. And I'm not seeing here, it looks like you're a healthcare provider, right? Or you're an intern helping patients. And we want to take that back and look at skills that are relevant to a volunteer coordinator position, right? Okay. The other thing here is that you may want to, if you are looking for an opportunity outside of healthcare, I would actually put your position titles first because they are pretty good, titles, right? And really make it so that's the first thing. So bold this instead of, making that italics and whatnot. And I think that would help you because it's less relevant unless you're doing volunteering in a hospital setting, right? It'll be a little bit different, right? So my feedback for this is going to be the same. Now, I think this one is actually pretty good because you have like, okay, you're going to have to onboard volunteers. You may not have to relocate them depending on where, I don't know, maybe. But essentially you have it here where you're working with all of these professionals to bring them together, right? And that sounds like volunteering to me. I have a question from Alyssa in the comments. Are one-page resumes still needed? I personally don't agree with limiting yourself on a page count. And I also think that, like in general, at least for me, I might have been like, wow, that's a lot of pages. I'm gonna be like, oh my God, there's a lot of pages. But it's not like I'm gonna throw out a qualified candidate because, oops, sorry, my webcam's not focused. But I'm not gonna throw out a qualified candidate because their resume was too long. Maybe if it was like ridiculous, like I've had people attach wild things to a resume. That's not what I'm talking about. So I would say your resume should be, and this is what I'll say all the time, your resume should be as long as it is needed in order to really ensure that you're able to get across the skills that you need to get across, your transferable skills, why somebody wants to hire you. And even if you're relatively early career, but you have a lot of skills that are important to share, and that puts you to 2 pages, do it. I don't see why people remove that, especially when you get into other jobs that are very compliance driven and they want to make sure you didn't lie on your resume, like government jobs. Like you don't want to exclude jobs just because it puts you to 2 pages. Okay, so keep that in mind. Hope that answers your question, Melissa. Okay, 1 minute. I need to take a drink of water. I'm talking a lot. Okay. Ooh. Checking out my TikTok pizza, y'all. Okay. I think I would probably have like comparable feedback. Again, this doesn't feel or seem like a volunteer-esque position. So I would just, again, remove all of those things that don't really sound like a volunteer coordinator or what they would do on a daily basis. I know that may feel weird, but it will ultimately help you move forward. Okay. Okay. So I think these are fine here. I'm a University of Florida grad, so I would have had to delete this resume, girl, before I saw this. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, congratulations on your degree. Hopefully your one's finished. But okay. Now down here we have these skills and interests. Y'all already heard what I had to say about putting your skills section closer to the top. Again, there are some down here that are relevant. Human resources is probably relevant-ish to being a volunteer coordinator. Like you need to know how to work with people, but I feel like there's probably a better way to handle that, like staffing or logistics, right? Like managing all these people is probably a way more relevant skill than using human resources. Advocacy, like if you're a volunteer coordinator, that's probably something that they may be looking at. And let's see, event management for sure. But so just look through some of these, right? And pull out the ones that are most relevant. And one thing is that you can actually look in that job description and find a lot of these. Okay. Woo! This one was a lot. Not this one, but it's been a lot. Okay, because I feel like I've been talking. So, okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up this last resume and give me a minute just to check my email to make sure I haven't gotten anything. While I'm doing that, if you are in a place where you are like, hey, I have a resume, but I don't like it, I would like to have like a little bit more of a, excuse me, I can't talk and look at my email at the same time. I would like to have a more modern resume. I do have a Canva resume template. You can pay whatever you want for it, but a minimum of $1. For those of you who are in my community, do not pay for this. You already have access to it. But for those of you who are not in the community, well, you can always join the community, okay? All of that being said, but if you just want to get the template to kind of get something new and refreshing, you can purchase that resume template. Okay. I don't see any new email. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the last resume that I have so far. Again, if you would like your resume reviewed, we'll see how I get to, and then I'll do Q&A at the end. You can send in. My email is hello@mercedesswan.com. If you're on TikTok, if you're looking at anywhere else, it's scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Okay. Oh my God. Oh, sorry. People are still scanning that. Okay. 1 second. Also, if you're like, you know what, I don't even want, I do not want to do this by myself, you can schedule a call to talk about coaching, okay? That's also an option. Hello, people on TikTok. I've been checking for questions from you all. Really, like, y'all be just doing me bad, okay? Y'all just be doing me bad on TikTok. Okay. All right, I don't see anything, but there's a lot of people that join. I'm glad that you're here, people on TikTok, to see this resume review. I'm gonna move it a little bit closer. Can you see that better? That's probably much better for y'all. Okay. Woo! Okay, so I'm gonna remove this so y'all can see the resume. And I need to make it a little bit smaller again, don't I? Okay, there we are. Okay, so this person is interested in training HR generalists. Oh, I'll answer the questions on the side. Okay. Looking for an HR generalist role, do you recommend I get certified for this? So, person who submitted this, if you are not on my YouTube already, I do have several videos that talk about becoming an HR generalist. And I also do not recommend that people first get certified. The reason why is because people will spend all this time getting certified, and it's a great thing. Like, they've learned the skills to, the knowledge to be an HR generalist, but then it does not help them actually repackage their skills. So if you're somebody that's like, oh, I could repackage my skills all day, every day, and I'm using this for education. Sure, it's a lot of work. It's hard. I'm sure I'm certified. There's my little thing right up there. I don't regret it. I think it was a very good thing for me to go through, but it is a hard exam and it will take you time. So if you're feeling like you have to get that before you actually get into human resources, I don't think you need that. Okay. Like, I just want you all to make good decisions and pivot into your dream jobs. If you are looking for, like, to advance in human resources, like, for sure, it would be something that's good once you pivot, but I don't want that to be a barrier for you pivoting. Like, I hope that makes sense. Okay. Okay. So name. Oh, did I get all of this? Okay. Also, okay, I'm gonna go in on y'all real quick. Okay. Any other jobs according to my resume you think I'm a good fit for? Okay. You never want to have a resume that, and I'm not saying this person was trying to do this. I'm saying this all out of love and care. You never want to have a resume that you feel like could be general for anything, right? If you do that, then your resume will not fit for anything, right? Because people, I mentioned that recruiters are looking to a particular job. They are not going to define those transferable skills for you. They are looking for you to define that, because we have to justify why we're moving you forward, right? If it's not on your resume, we're making leaps. That is one of the most damaging things you can do to have an equitable hiring process, right? So you want to make the story, make the case for you. Okay. Okay, so at face value, I feel like this is a very interesting resume template. Like, I can't say that I don't like it, but it is also like, I'm looking at this, I was like, whoa, this is different. I feel like it might just be because you have some of these icons here, which is like a nice touch. So I think it's just like a new, different thing. I would honestly say that potentially some color could make this like a little bit more appealing. Like, you could even just like make this a blue. And I think maybe it's just because, like, oh, it has like this very modern take, but then it's all like black. So like, you could do like a cute little teal, right? Whatever. Anyway, that's just a nitpicky thing. Nobody's gonna throw out your resume for that. Just let me do it. Okay. So reading through this is a good, I would make, so I usually like the title to be a little bit bigger because I almost missed this. Like, if I wasn't reviewing this, I probably wouldn't have read that. I would have been like, that's her email. Okay, so make it a little bit bigger, maybe move it right under your name, put it in a different color, something like that. I don't remember what's redacted here, but if this is the same information, like your number and your email, I don't think you need it twice. So I would say this is a little, that sounds weird. Wasted space is not nice, but I just feel like it's kind of like a waste of space if you've already mentioned it up here, like people are going to see that. So one thing you could do is you could put your education. over here. I think that's how it is in my, in my template in Canva, I have your details on the left side, then your education, then your skills. You can move that around, but anyway. Okay, I would also say you don't need to put this at the top because if you're looking at human resources, like, okay, I mean, maybe if you were doing like HR analyst with a computer science degree, I might be like, oh, that's interesting. But you're not. So not that you can't. If you are like, oh my God, I didn't think about that. Could do HR analyst. Okay. But I would say leave that closer to the bottom. And then here we have freelance grant coordinator, right? Okay, so at face value, like grant coordinator, freelance, I might just like remove the freelance, right? Because that kind of like usually implies that you do not have like a stable job. And it's not, and for me, I'm like, the skill is a skill, but there are some people out there who are like, oh, they're job hoppers. So you might want to just remove that. Grant coordinator is fine. I think you probably, oh, it's freelance because okay, you are job hopping. Okay, change this to talk about being self-employed. Like talk about, put your business name here and put, like self-employed or CEO and if it's self-employed, like you can title yourself whatever you want to title it. So you could just be like administrative coordinator, right? Because that's a little bit more aligned with a HR job, right? Okay, so hopefully that's right. I don't want you to out yourself if you're on the live, so you just let me know. But hopefully that's right. Okay, so serves as a project leader for. Okay, I'm reading through this. Da-da-da. Grants, financial assistance. Oh, this is cool. This sounds like a cool position. Okay, so there are things in here that are very much so human resources, generalist skills, right? Organizational development. This is, you're providing technical assistance. Like it could, sometimes you are providing technical assistance to employees, but like think about it differently, right? Different words. You are writing reports in human resources, but maybe there's a way for you to talk about, maybe it's demographics, or maybe it is like employment history, training. Think about things that HR people are pulling reports on. Like that's the angle that you really want to take this. So it's like, how can I think about everything that I'm doing from an HR standpoint? But I do think that you do have a lot of transferable skills here. Still looking. Best practices. Again, these are all really good skills. So anyway, maybe if you're titling, if you're in control of your title, make it a little bit different. Oh, hello, my mom's here. Hello, Talata. You're 49 minutes late. Love you. My mom. Hi. I love her. Okay, so going back to this. So I think it's really just go back to that HR, that HR job description and say like, oh, okay, they're looking for onboarding. How can I talk about the skills that I'm doing from an onboarding HR perspective, right? Instead of what I'm doing now. Okay. Admissions coordinator. Okay, cool. You have recruitment here. This is good. These bullets are pretty well-rounded. Girl, not you saying you forgot my live. I'm just owning you. I want a new mom now. I regret saying I loved you. No, I saw you talking and you didn't say anything about it, so I knew you forgot. Okay, lunch and learns for information sessions. Okay, this is very HR-y, okay? So I think just build out some of these bullets and remove things that are not HR. Some of these are. Anywho, so just think about kind of the structure and how you can put your best HR foot forward. I think that based on what you're saying, like if you were to pull out all of the training stuff in your background experience in all three of these areas, then you could really position yourself as, somebody in training and development. I think that would be that's the first thing on your list. But I think being in training would be a really good way to do this. But overall, like I think your bullets, they could use a little bit of love, add some more results in there, but I do like that they're more descriptive, right? Okay, skills. These are good. I would remove that user experience. It could be relevant for training, but it might not be relevant for generalist role. Yeah, this actually, Though you have some things in here, this actually reads like a training resume if I had some more opportunity. Okay. So let me think about things that you could potentially add. You could add training. So let's say you do training. You could add the list of training. So that's something that I've done. I love training. I want my roles in the future to incorporate training. So what I will do is absolutely I will put the training that I delivered, what the topics is and are, and things like that. Especially if they were ones that I developed myself. Yeah, I think this is really my feedback for this one. I don't think I have anything else. I generally do like the formatting. This was a little different at first. Okay. All right. So do y'all have any questions for me? I'm checking TikTok. Oh, did I miss a message? No, somebody was trying to, some random person was trying to join my live. I hear that happens a lot. TikTok is not nice. Okay. All right. Let me just check. Let me check. Okay. I don't have any resumes. So that means I'm going to open it up I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to open it up for questions. So give me just a minute to stop sharing that other piece. What do you mean? What did you miss? That is just so rude. Okay, so I'll put the chat up here, and then also let me go get the lovelies on TikTok. Can I even change my screen back? They might. Oh, I can't flip the camera. Oh, there it is. Shut the front door. Hello, people on TikTok. Hello. Oops. Oh, you're welcome. Okay, these are really great tips. I'm going to update my resume and send it for review one day. Okay, awesome. So I just have an MR. Don't know who MR is, but hello. If you are MR and you would like a resume review, you can just reach out. I'm gonna put my, can I put my website in here? I message to some channels. Okay. Well, put it in here. You can always go to my website. I do resume reviews like this in detail where you get this type of feedback. Like if you don't want to wait for my next live, you can always purchase. Hi, Melissa. Okay. I was like, it's just telling me, Emma, I don't know who that is. But you can always purchase a resume review at any time. I'm also going to bring back up the QR code for the Canva template if any of you all are interested. But I absolutely love Canva, and I have had a lot of questions of people like, hey, is the resume review? Oh, look, she's on. She's on TikTok too. My mom was trying to make up for her insanity and she joined on TikTok too. Okay, but it's there. These are really great tips. Okay. What if we are between jobs and want to coach with you but don't have the money? Can we pay you once we got the job? So great question, Alyssa. So I don't do anything. I know there's a lot of programs out there. Oops, sorry, I'm gonna move this here so I can see. I know that there are a lot of programs that like they don't require you to pay until after you got the job. So essentially, that's not something that I offer, but I do offer payment plans. So I will be flexible with you. So if you want to schedule a call, you can scan the QR code. You can go to my website. It's relatively easy to find that. And I like to be flexible because I want coaching to be accessible and affordable for everyone who wants it. So you can schedule a call to learn more, and then we can like create a package that will work with you. So yeah, and then Alyssa, I probably should have put this on the comment. Let me see if I can make a QR code really quick for joining the community. Oh my gosh, because like they get mad at you if you post the links and stuff. So give me 1 minute, I'll make a QR code, and it'll go to like my links page. It'll go to my links page, and you can go there. Learn more. Okay, hopefully that works right. You can go to my links page and you can see the next event that we have going on, and you can also sign up. So it should be showing up now. So you can go there to learn about the community, join, and yeah, and get all the events. You also get the resume template. It's only $5 a month. I just like, again, my whole thing is making things accessible to you all. Yeah. Okay. Oh, hello. Okay. Yes, I do try and make my things affordable. Oh, my mom sent me a rose. She's like seriously mom guilting it up over there. I'll take that rose, girl. Let me get that 1 cent on TikTok. All right. Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's 56. Let me see if I got any more resume emails. Okay. Well, let me know if you're still here. Like, did you enjoy this? Do you want to do more resume reviews? Is there another topic that you all want to learn about? I feel like I'm getting to that very awkward stage where I'm like, what do I want to talk about? And I also don't want to cut people off who are like actively typing. So I'll do like a shameless shameless plug. Thank you, Melissa. Okay, so if you are here, I've done multiple plugs, but if you're like, I don't know what the best thing for me to do, what's the best way to work with you? You could just schedule a call. It should be in this corner somewhere, I think, on your end. If you are on TikTok over here, you can go to my profile and schedule a call. It's super easy, super simple, and I just love talking to you all, so I don't mind. And it's a good way for you to kind of get some questions answered, figure out whether coaching, mentoring, or another option is really relevant to you. So thank you so much for the feedback. And Alyssa, I love that. Talking about interviewing, that would be a super fabulous thing to do. I want to make these things like something that is very interactive and that's more tangible. And I also don't want to take away from people in the community because I have events for them. So I think maybe we do like a live mock interview or something. Any of y'all down for that? Or provide feedback? I know interviewing is super like nerve wracking or anything and stuff like that, but yeah, cool. Yeah, okay. Well, thank you all for joining me. I see some of you all are still scanning the QR code. So I will hang out for a few minutes to see if there are any other questions. Even if it's not resume writing, you can absolutely ask me the questions right now. So yeah, I'm gonna take a drink. And for any of you all like who did get your thank you, mommy. I just love that affirmation from you. I love that you knew I did a great job from joining the last 15 minutes. Anyway, but yeah, so I think I'll do these again. This was a lot of fun. And I want you all to know on the live, you reviewed your resume. It's not a terrible resume. I just wanted to give you all the advice, and it's all said with love. So yeah. Okay. Y'all still scanning that QR code. Go ahead and schedule your calls. Go ahead and get those resources. But yeah, this is a lot of fun. And if you are in the community, I will make sure to post this a little bit later so you all can see that. All right. I think that's it. Bye-bye, TikTok. I don't even know what TikTok is doing over there, but I'm done. I'm done with TikTok. It's not leaving. Oh, it's ending now. All right. Okay, cool. And bye, everybody, on the rest of the live being on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube. I love talking with y'all, so I'll see you later. Oh my gosh. Bye, y'all. Oh, you know what? I can't even find the little design. I was supposed to do a little outro, right? Look how cute this is. Bye.